What is going on, you beautiful people? I don't know what this is. This is an interesting little selection thingamajiggy here. Okay, guys, here we are. We got Silver Kyrie in the house. Silver Kyrie in the joint. This is going to be very, very interesting. Miss Kyrie, I think she's got a debut. She's debuting one of her songs today, so this should be very, very, very interesting. Let me take this off of split screen or whatever the type of screen is happening here. I don't know what's going on. While that's happening, tell me how you guys are doing. Widescreen. Okay, so this means that we are in. We must have hooked up Zoom then. Are we on Zoom? Is that the issue? We got two screens here. Why is the interview button on? Why is it screen like that? That's so annoying. Last track has some metal in it though. Okay. Ah, we monkey. Thank you, buddy. It's glad to know that people believe we're still awesome. That's so touching. I'm dead ass serious though. I love that. I love that because you never know, guys. You never know. You can't take this stuff for granted. I was talking to a YouTuber about this. Okay, so that's a desktop camera. I think we got it, boys. I think we got it. Bang! All right, so I think we're in business now. Debut is a stretch. The song came out on the full album back in Diciembre, but it'll be your first time hearing it. Well, it's a debut to me, damn it. I think Silver Kyrie is actually our first track. Vin leg cam. I don't think I've ever done a leg cam before. I don't think I've done a webcam, a leg cam before. We do webcams every day. All right, good. All right, so we're back. I've got the full thingamajiggy here. Let me see here. Where's my boy? Archera. Shout out to the big homie Archero, who does everything behind the scenes for y'all. Y'all got no idea. One for Archero, there's a lot of things that would not be happening here. But Archero is the man. He's absolutely the man. All right, good. All right, so we're ready. Y'all see the A99 logo in this bitch. You know what it's. You know what we on. You know what we on. All right, guys, here we go. Anarchy 99 in the house. Song numero uno comes from, let me see here. Let me pull up Trello real quick. I'm pretty sure the first song is actually Silver Kyrie, but let me check just to make sure. Archero, are you in there? Are you guys in? Is Archero in the house or no? Is Archero in the house or no? I'm not actually supposed to use Trello with this thing in the jiggy. What do you guys like? That light that just showed up? Let me see. Let me see here. Do you guys like the extra light or nah? I'll tell you in a second. All right, let me see. Trello board. Alliance picks. Song number 1. Yes. Anarchy's 99's Anarchist picks. Okay, so song number 1 is Silver Kyrie. Excellent. There is an intro prior to every song. Okay, let's check out the intro prior to every song. I see. Alright, guys. Silver Kyrie put in a couple of her own tracks to the A99 catch-up poll. The one we landed on is called Ghosts of Every Story, Ghost of Every Loss. That's the name of this song. Ghosts of Every Story, Ghost of Every Loss. Silver, is there a official lyric place where I can find the lyrics? Or maybe you can text me the lyrics, or do you not care if I get the lyrics completely accurate or not? I just want to make sure that we do this like perfectly. What's up, Blasphemy? Good to see you, baby. Look at the introduction card for the theme of tonight. That would be kind of important. That's what I want, guys. If you guys are going forward, a couple things. One, if you could list all the YouTube like addresses for each thing in like one little block text, that would be great, because I literally have a program where I can copy and paste all 4 of them and download them at the same time instead of individually. And then if there's any theme or something that you guys want for you know, your thingamajiggy, then I would like that too. Okay, so Ben, you are my timestamp person. So after I get this, I'm gonna call the timestamp. I'm gonna read the theme of the night, and then we're gonna go. Okay. All right. So Ben, the timestamp is 9:30, 9 minutes and 30 seconds for song 1. All right, guys, here we go. We are on the road. This is an alliance meeting. An alliance means you sign up on Patreon. It's only $1 to get in. You guys need to jump on that joint. Okay, so it's $1 to get in. You get joined up with an alliance, and the alliances influence who we listen to and when we listen to it and how we listen to it. They get an entire night, dear listener, dedicated to themselves. Having said that, to make up for lost time, Negative Vibes put together a poll where everyone active in A99 was welcome to submit a pair of songs, and then the alliance would vote between them. So there's still some amount of choice in voting to be involved. We call these our anarchist picks. Every one of these alliances has different, you know, thingamajiggies. You've heard of 2 of our selections already, both for Neil and Maud the Moth for Misery Biz. Tonight, we present the rest of our winners. Song number 1 is from the Earth famous big homie Silver Kyrie. All right, guys. Yes, Archero, do me a favor and get Silver my number, or Silver, send Archero the lyrics. Archero, text them to me. All right, guys, here we go. Song number 1 from Silver Kyrie. This is a historic moment. I'm telling you, this is one of the most historic moments of your life, dear listener. There's not a lot for you to look forward to after this. Here we go. Oh, actually, wait. If you hit show more underneath, you will see the lyrics. Okay, Ben, we have to do an entirely new intro because I want to get this exactly right, okay? So, Ben, scratch the 9:30 thing and go with the new thing I'm going to tell you. Let me see. I think I did hit show more here, though, to get the song thingy. But if you say it's in there, let me see. All right, I hit show more. Looks like he wasn't lying. There go the lyrics right there. What a disaster. What a disaster. All right, guys, stand by. I'm going to copy these lyrics. Again, I cannot let these things go without the lyrics, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It is what it is. All right, good. I got the lyrics there. Got to make them conceivable on one page. Talks amongst yourselves, dear listener. Talks among yourselves. Oh, man. Let me go to Gemini. I want all these lyrics. I'm using AI right now, guys, in one snapshot. All right, here we go. Here we go. Stand by, guys. Stand by. All right, there we go. All right, that's the way we're going to have to do it. Okay. All right, now, Ben, I need you to do the intro again. So we're at let's go with 1330. All right, guys. Having said that, here we go. Song number 1. This is Silver Kyrie. It's a debut on Vin and Sorry. It's not like the official debut, but it's a debut that's important to moi. And as you guys know, moi is important. This is Silver Kyrie, Ghost of Every Sorry, Ghost of Every Loss. Let's do it.
The sky shone down like 10 million distant cameras screaming in light, observing harshly the cold middle gray. Infatuation, a sculpture of shattered metal twisting upward, stretching up to claw that brightest nighttime shattering bulb. She drove through soft black mist, death behind her slick on the ice, and the ghosts that chased death bit at its heels, eager to propel it forward. Ghosts that in the starlight melt but never fade, of which all her rhyming, singing regrets are made. Long lost longing for love, no gone, stuck on the ice. In the night a crash they bade. Metal twists and breaks and joins that sculpture. Monument, monolith, shadow of a girl in gray.
I'm hearing whispers. Is that right? Am I supposed to hear whispers, or am I not hearing the mix correctly? Off-putting as hell, boy. Shit makes me so uncomfortable doing writing. Sunrise shone like 10 million angels, wings and eyes sing away the shade. Oh, accursed light bearer, oh, burning sword of fire, oh, dearest Belphegor, sculptured obscura, dreaded burning exhaustion, peeling skin, death twirling feathers and shards of light, emerald zircon phosphophyllite, a siren shattering the windshield glass, voice in the review softly, it's alright, it's alright. Mist decaying the cloudless white, lens and shutter, copper and ash, photograph of same girl, same gray.
And then a single fire, or 10 million crying embers, smoke clouds painted in sepia tones, death in its own death throes, glass reforming, frost-feathered swans, song that long-lost longing drones, sunflower petals wilt on the grass, moths chew through stained glass, hungry little psychopumps into black rosariums, the gallery of decaying brushstrokes and melting rubber, into the void of morning, a crash, monolith split, triptych, painting of a girl in gray.
Okay, I thoroughly disenjoyed that song. This song was the least enjoyable of the Silver Corpus I've listened to, because it didn't freak me out, okay? Like, it didn't freak me out. But it was just, you ever watch those movies where it's like, how do you, it's a horror movie, but the setup for the horror is like, you're watching it and then it's like, something is off with that lady, right? Like, it was kind of like Get Out. Get Out was one, like the scene where the guy sits into the sunken place. So it's like, the real horror of that show or the movie really doesn't come out till maybe Act 3, end of Act 2 into Act 3. But there was a lot of things beforehand that were off-putting, just uncomfortable, where you were like, yo, this is not good, right? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that kind of energy where you're like, yo, something is off. So it's not the horror, but it's like the discomfort before the horror. That is what bugged me about this song. I was always in a place of like being uncomfortable. And the other thing too is like, I just started following this like spoken word artist on Facebook. He's really, really good. And I'm like, so I've been starting to get into spoken word a little bit. So like the power of that genre where they just kind of rely on the spoken word for the you know, instead of like the instruments. And this song did have instruments in the background, but they really utilized the power of spoken word in such a, again, just spooky, off-putting way. Okay, so that's one. I thoroughly disenjoyed that song. Okay, number two. Lyrically, I thought this was crazy. My premise is there's a car accident. Maybe some girl died in a car accident, or multiple people died in a car accident. That's my assumption about what's being told in this story. So the sky showed down like 10 million distant. So there's a, you know, you got camera, like explicitly called camera. You have lens, you have flashing, you have triptych. So it's kind of, there's sort of like a media type view on things. Like, you know, we're viewing the world through a camera lens or something, which, you know, if it was reported in the news, then that would kind of go there. Okay, so 10 million distant cameras screaming in light, observing harshly the cold middle gray infatuation of sculpture. So here's my first clue. We're talking about a car accident. Infatuation, a sculpture of shattered metal twisting upward, stretching up to claw at the brightest nighttime shattering bulb. So I'm thinking there's some horrible car accident happened, and the media shows up, and it's just cameras flashing, which is kind of like inhumane. Like, I remember it was Bonnie and Clyde, some movie, Bonnie and Clyde, and spoiler, they got caught at the end and they got shot up. And it's crazy because it showed like the media taking pictures and then people like running over and, oh, I got a belt buckle, or I got a button. It was just this very weird, disgusting display of humanity. You know what I mean? It was like, ugh. And it's like, over the years, being involved in really tragic situations and like seeing them in the newspaper, like it's like this, they have to talk about it, but at the same time, like, the more glamorous and horrible the picture is, the better it is for them, and everybody wants to be the first one to get the horrible picture. And so it's kind of has a almost like a like an inhumane way of looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can elaborate on the lyrics when you're ready for me to. I want to hear your uninfluenced take first. Yeah. No, I was definitely going to interrogate you on that, because it's very rare that I have the artist right there in the thingamajiggy. All right. So that's what it reminded me of, is like this horrible car accident happened at nighttime or whatever, and then now you got people like taking pictures of it. We continue. She drove through the soft black mist, death behind her slick on the ice, and the ghost that chased death bit at its heels, eager to propel it forward, ghosted in the starlight melt but never fade, of which all her rhyming, singing regrets are made. So it looks like the car kind of slipped on some black ice. She drove through the soft black mist, which I'm assuming is like the and then death behind her slick on the ice, because the ice is what was trying to propel her to death, maybe. The ghost chased death, bit at its heels, eager to propel it forward, ghosted in the starlight melt but never fade, of which all her rhyming, singing regrets are made. Maybe there's a little bit autobiographical too, but these ghosts are the inspiration for this girl's artistry. So that might be a little bit of a meta moment, maybe even autobiographical. Long lost longing for love now gone, slick on the ice. Yeah, okay, I got that right. In the night, a crash they bade, metal twists and breaks and joins that sculpture. The monument, monolith, shadow of a girl in gray. Metal twists and joins the sculpture. I'm assuming the sculpture was the fucked up car at the beginning of the song, but it might be that there was an actual sculpture and now the car looks like it after it got crashed or whatever. The monument, monolith, shadow of a girl in gray. Sunrise shone like 10 million angels' wings. 10 million angels, wings and eyes, sing away the shade. That's a fucking. That's probably the best way of talking about a sunrise. Sunrise shone like 10 million angels, wings and eyes, sing away the shade. Damn. Oh, accursed light bearer, bearing sword of fire. Light bearer would be Lucifer, son of the morning. You're talking about daybreak. So this accident happened at night, and now we're describing. So now we're moving into daybreak. So the accident happens at night, and then daybreak happens. Sunlight shone like 10 million angels, wings and eyes, sing away the shade. Oh, accursed light bearer, oh, burning sword of fire. Oh, dearest Belphegor, sculptured obscura, dreaded burning exhaustion, peeling skin. So now the morning is revealing the aftermath of this wreckage. It's sculptured, but it's obscura in the sense that there's no rhyme or reason to this artistry, because it's just what was left over from the accident. So you can't apply any intelligence to the sculpture, but it still functions like a sculpture. Sculptured obscura, that's how I'm looking at it. Dreaded burning exhaustion, that's maybe a double entendre, because exhaust from a car and exhaustion in the sense of like you're at the end of your life, or when you have a collapsed lung, it becomes really hard to breathe. Believe me, I know, it sucks. Peeling skin, death twirling feathered and shards of light, emerald zircon, phosphophyllite. I don't know if that is a word that they made up. You know, like phosphorus is, you know, has the connotation of light. A siren shattering the windshield glass, voices in the rear view mirror softly, it's all right, it's all right. That would be the police and whoever showing up. Mist decaying the cloudless white, lens and shutter, copper and ash. Photograph of same girl, same gray. That's probably her skin after she's dead. And then a single fire, 10 million embers, smoke clouds, painting in sepia tones, death. Then in its own death throes. I really, really love that. There's a book called The Death of Death and the Death of Christ. But death in its own death throes. Glass reforming. See, this right here is like, you know those situations where like the camera loops backwards? So like you're in with this car accident, and then like we've seen everything that happened, and then now it's like reversing back in time. So the glass is reforming. Song that long lost, longing its own death throes. Glass reforming. Frost feathered swan. Song that song that long last, longing drones. Sunflower petals wilt in the grass. Moss chew through stained glass. Hungry little psychocons and black rosariums. A gallery of decaying brushstrokes and melting rubber. Into the void of morning, a crash monolith. Triptych painting a girl in gray. Okay, that's the best that I could do. That's my best guess. It's about a car accident that happened at night. The girl slipped on black ice. The morning rose above it and all that stuff. And the entire time it's like mega spooky, and you're talking about ghosts that like inspired the accident. Okay, that's the best that I have. But this is the first time I've actually had the artist in there. How close was I? Did I completely mess that up? Or was I anywhere close in my understanding of what's going on? Tell me, Silver. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. Tell me, Silver Car, cause I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. Hurry up, Silver. You're not satisfying our curiosity. You better hurry up. I'm gonna start rapping. You guys don't want to hear me rap. Silver, where are you? Let us know. Pretty close. Definitely about a car crash. Okay. Thank God. All right. I was close. All right. That's pretty... I feel pretty cool about that because I was almost certain that I was going to get this wrong because the lyrics were so... You know, I was a little bit nervous. I mean, you're like right there. So I'm glad that I was close. Who was the artist? The artist is actually here. Silver Kyrie. She's actually right here in the thingamajiggy. I keep telling you guys, I know famous people. Y'all don't believe me. I just got done talking to a famous person before I jumped on here. A lot of famous people. Are y'all excited for Easter? It's only a couple days away. Of course you know I am. Definitely excited for Easter. The ghosts are more literally the call of the void. Aha! The song is about dreaming of a car crash and contemplating suicide via veering off-road on long night drives. Okay. Yeah, Weed Monkey. Oh, snap indeed. Yeah, we got the artist like right here. Like, that almost never happens to me. Never. Yeah, that whole thing, we lost people in a pretty like disastrous car accident on Christmas Eve, and it was just horrible, because the dad had to ID his son on Christmas Eve, and I'm like, God, how could you let that happen, dude? Like, every Christmas they're gonna have to deal with this. I was like, that is such a bad call that you let that happen. Such a bad call. I struggled so bad with that one. There's some other details related to the album as a whole. It's a concept record, but that's the gist of it. I can elaborate on specific lines, and you nailed most of it overall. What about the one where it was talking about the sculpture? It made it sound like the car was like by a sculpture. I initially thought the sculpture was the car after it was wrecked. But what about that line where it talks about the sculpture? What was going on there? That's a chilling meaning behind the song. Yeah. Chilling indeed. That's, yeah. Not, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's, that's why I said, like, the vibe of the thing was just so uncomfortable. It was just straight discomfort. You're a brilliant lyricist. Yeah, lyrically, it was haunting but beautiful in its own. See, that's the thing about this song. As a spoken word piece in its own right, it could operate completely by itself, completely. And when you add the music to it, it just creates that like discomfort feeling. You know what I'm saying? It just creates this icky discomfort, uncomfortable feeling that I just want to like wash off of me, if that meant, like, no offense, Silver. But the music was just so subtle and off-putting. It was extremely disturbing. Yeah. Like, that's enough. Great job, Silver. Honestly. I'm never going to listen to the song again. I think some of it has to do with I was in a pretty bad car accident. Well, actually, I should have died in that accident. And then when Mike Knoyer died, and all those people died with him. So, like, this description of the accident, and then the ghosts, and then I've got ghosts, in the background that I'm thinking about that died in cars as I'm hearing these ghosts whispering is just very off-putting. The sculpture is both the car wreckage and the call of the void. Infatuation, a sculpture stretching upward. Okay. That connects everything. Okay, so Shori tells me this all the time. She's like, yo, you ever been in a car and like thought to yourself, what would happen if I just did one of these? Like when you're on the highway going 80 or whatever. She's like, you ever just think about, or like when you're driving behind one of those big 18-wheelers, do you ever just think, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, well, yeah, but you never actually do it. You know what I'm saying? But I remember when I was like in the throes of like major depression, and it kind of felt like death kind of like incarnated or personified itself and was kind of like behind me, telling me like, yo, let's get out of here type of thing. So that like understanding of death as a sort of seductive person that's like calling you out of this life is it's one of those things where if you've experienced mental health issues, if you've experienced actual depression, you kind of get where that person's coming from. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's kind of heavy. I'm gonna give this song a straight 8. Straight 8. Oof. Fun fact: when I released the demo as a single, I did release a vocals only version along. I knew it. I knew it because it could work as a vocal only version, or it could work as a very horrible, what do you call that? Soundtrack to a very horrible movie. I was in a pretty serious car accident myself during the early writing process of this album. I fell asleep while holy shit. I fell asleep while driving and totaled my car about a week after recording the opening track. Oh my god. Those impulsive thoughts are creepy. I heard that's what people with Tourette's say some whiles. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a solid 8 for me. Like a mega uncomfortable song. Very good job, Silver. Very good job. And I'm glad you got a significant writing gift. There was one line in there that was like, oh yeah. Before you go, Silver, give me one more thing though. Give me one more thing before you go, because I wanted to see what you thought of this. Where is that line? I really enjoyed that line. Oh, slick on the eyes, metal twist. Give me a second. There it is right there. Okay. Sunrise shone like 10 million angels, wings and eyes sing away the shade. Oh, accursed light bearer, oh, burning sword of fire, oh, dearest Belphegor. So tell me about that specific section. Was that just talking about sunrise, and Lucifer, son of the morning, and all that stuff, or was that defining something other than the sunrise? And since you're in North Carolina and we're in Florida, you're going to have to guess in one of our tracks. You're going to have to put some violin on top of one of our tracks, Silver. Okay. North Carolina in the house. A lot of North Carolinians in the house. Good to see. Anaheim, California. Me and Soy were there. Me and Soy were in Anaheim from NAMM. Maybe we'll go to NAMM next year. We get invited kind of every year. Slightly long answer. Give me a second to type. Okay. Perfect. So, yeah, I really like the song a bunch. In the sense of like, love the artistry, and it accomplished what it wanted to, what it needed to accomplish. But I am never going to listen to it again. That's like such a spooky track. There is this one thing where I think I played it for you guys. It was like the top 10 scariest songs in the world or something like that. And the one that got number 1, it was very close to this song. Very close to this. I thought it was a black metal band. I mean, it might be a black metal band. I mean, Silver is kind of everything, I guess. I'm from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Okay, I see what that is. I think we're global over here, baby. Global over here. Yeah. So, yeah. Once I figure out what that one is, guys, we can go to the next song. I know I kind of hung out on this song a little bit, but when the lyrics, that's the thing. Like when the lyrics get me on something, I get all in my head and obsessive. And the person's here, so I didn't want to wait. Archero, you still need to give Silver my number though. Yeah, so we've got 3 other tracks coming, ladies and gents. So once we get that up, then we'll be able to do that. And we've got movies coming very soon here. Movies. Yeah, we watched a movie last week. Hopefully we can do like a movie once a week. I'm gonna be shooting a video on that jazz. Ah, Jet in the house. What's up, Jet? Gang. What was that rap song about North Carolina and helicoptering sweatshirts? Belphegor is a demon. What's good, Amy Lee? Good to see you. Yeah, Belphegor is a demon. All 3 of those are demons that we just named. So, yeah. Yay, another mod and the mess mod, the OG. Yeah, I think Amy was the OG mod. I don't think I made anybody a mod until I made Amy a mod. Then once I made Amy a mod, then everybody's like, oh my gosh, how come I'm not a mod? But Amy was the OG mod. Homies try to kill me and you still with him. Shorty, you chill with him. And you wonder why we not friends. Best thing I could do is not build with you when I could destroy you. That takes some fucking discipline. I could send a team to come drill you. I got 1 million or 2, and I know where the fuck you live. Dudes need to stop talking gangster. You should just thank us. Humble yourself a little bit. This ain't the same Vinny that you knew once. I don't shine shoes, Unc. This ain't what you want. All that back and forth over the internet. Homie, we don't tennis that. Y'all gotta do something. Only thing respect now is violence. Anything beside that, we moving silent. Now I'm public enemy. Niggas try to kill me, but you want me to be friendly. Crackers want sympathy after they tried to end me. Be the same ones that love you, be the same ones that envy. Shout out to the family. I don't got no friends no more. Not many understand me because everybody wants something. They know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Everybody wants something. You know the price of everything, but the value, nothing. Oh, that shit is hard, baby. That shit is hard. Anyway, I was sad that there was no mod party tonight. It was only me. Dwayne didn't show up, and this type of music is not sending the other bards. I so didn't want to be a mod because of my low tolerance for dumb people. That's so funny. That is hilarious. Who is the lady on the album cover? Is it the writer of this song or creator of the band? I think it's all of the above. I think it's all of the above. Somebody get the millstone. All right, so Silver Kyrie is gonna get me the answer. Then we're gonna go to song 2. What's going on, Lesser God Lonely? You should videotape when you do that thing that we talked about. I'd like to see it. That'd be so badass. Silver said she took the photos, but it is someone else in the picture. Oh, that's not her. A lot of mystery. So it's literally about sunrise, yes, and waking up from the dream, but it's also carrying the theme of the album of the protagonist's emotions being communicated through the shifting sky. The angel motif started with the idea of the angel of death, and I elaborated on it as the rebellion of demons under Lucifer. The light bearer, Lucifer himself, sword of fire being an angel representing the depression and mania, and Belphegor being the demon of sloth, the protagonist in action, which then gets explicated throughout. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Holy smokes. Well, I feel a little bit like I have become an official reactor now that I was able to break down those lyrics closely. I was close. Badass song. Thank you very much, Silver. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Silver. When the boogies come back, you better be there. All right, guys. Song number 2 is on the way. Minute 48. Let's go with 48:30. Benji. 48:30. And the next joint is Lupe freaking Fiasco. I am extremely excited about Lupe Fiasco. This is the winner from my Negative Vibes pair of tracks, Palaces by the legendary Chi-Town MC Lupe Fiasco. My son actually has Lupe in his like GOAT conversation. Like literally, he thinks that Lupe should deserve GOAT consideration. So that's how real it is with the big homie Lupe. Phospholite is a gemstone, by the way. I didn't make it up. It's teal. It's a teal-like color. Okay. Phospholite. How do I do that phonetically? All right, guys. Here we go. This is Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco. Here we go. Okay. This one's off his most recent release, 2024's Samurai, which itself is a cool concept record about how he thought Amy Winehouse's career would have continued had she not lost a fight with alcoholism in 2011, imagining her life as a battle rapper based on what she had been developing right around that time. I'm not sure if you've heard Lupe before, but if not, you'll find he's a real rapper's rapper. Lyrical depth and rhymes for days. Yeah, I know a little bit about Lupe Fiasco. All right, guys, here we go. Lupe Fiasco. All right, let's do it this way. We'll do a traditional one. So rap is a little bit different to react to because it's like there's certain lines where I'm like, oh my God, look what he did. You see what I'm saying? So I might like interrupt during this one. I don't know. You got to help me out, Negative, because like I always have an instinct to do rap reactions differently than the way I do regular reactions. But, you know, let's see. All right. Benji, let's start again. I want to do this clean. Okay, so let's do 50-45, okay? All right, guys, here's the next song from Anarchy 99 by the big homie Negative Vibes. This is Lupe Fiasco's Palaces. This is what he says. The winner from my Negative Vibes is pair of tracks, Palaces by the legendary Chi-Town MC Lupe Fiasco. This one's off his most recent release, 2024 Samurai, which itself is a cool concept record about how he thought Amy Winehouse's career would have continued had she not lost a fight with alcoholism in 2011, and imagining her life as a battle rapper based on what she had been developing right around that time. I'm not sure if you've heard of Lupe before. White people are cute sometimes, I gotta tell you. But if not, you'll find he's a real rapper's rapper. Lyrical depth and rhymes for days. Negative Vibes. Let's do it, guys. Here we go. The big homie, who most of you guys have probably never heard of. Lupe freaking Fiasco Palaces. Y'all know what it is. Vintage Story. Let's go. Waiting on a battle sword, handle all in my hand. The war force is more toward my door with demands more important than the fortune that you poured in my pan. From freestyling to recording in advance, can you please reinforce all my borders and bands? I should've put it towards some plans. Want a forest, gotta water some plants. Normally ignoring the branch is par for the course, but when you hold a culture you can't parkour over a part. You gotta march forth over your art and for your fans. When you corner, gotta shorten your stance. Lessen your tails, Philly shell, don't orbit a dance. You hit a bell, then report to the band and do whatever that the chorus commands. And for the grand,
talented all along. Think we're fortresses made of stone. We're just palaces made out of flesh and bone. Waiting for our time to shine, Lord, please bless my mansion of cards. If ever challenged, let us camp in the car. Or hang a hammock from a branch in the park. A planet made of uninhabited parts. Being anonymous don't grant you some dark. Even astronomers keep a camera on Mars. Satellite to track where you are and see you black as night, attack it with sparks. Fireworks are not a match for a star, and fire hurts, burns, blackens, and scars. Can still emerge, learned, attractive, and charred from out the ashes of galactic barrage. Yeah, it gets savage where they traffic mirage. It ain't no magic day in back of its secret hatches and frauds. You gotta take it back to the start. You gotta tap and learn to rap from the heart. Yeah, yeah. Talented all along. Think we're fortresses made of stone. We're just palaces made out of flesh and Lord, please bless my palace of bones. My soul call my skeleton home, it's on the phone. Get a receiver back to Tyrone. We made a pact, nigga, I'm going back home. Yeah, pack my bag, stagger back to the zone. With a bag full of daggers I've thrown. I'm like my own masochist, slash my wrist with a poem. And when I'm gone, don't tamper with or sample my songs unless you strong. Bicep emojis in the group chat. 5 sets of burpees, don't disturb me if the booth black. I'm going through it, got a bunch of baggage on my roof rack. I have a lot of habits that produce that. They gon' put they tag on it. My condolences to the fast moments. Hope the solar system assists my slow emission and put some lag on it. Window to my soul peering inside the crib where my spirit resides. Lyrics are die.
Woo! Ooh, man. This boy, that boy gifted, y'all. Okay, how am I gonna do this now? How am I gonna do this? I almost want to be like, all right, the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna listen to the song again, but we can't listen to it again. But it was so hard lyrically. All right, so first thing we'll do is we will take care of the chorus. We've been talented all along, right? This right here, I could spend the entire review talking about just this course right here. Literally, I could spend 2 hours on this, go from Genesis all the way to Revelation, tell you the entire gospel, tell you the entire Christian message and the world just in these lines, literally. I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm not going to do that, but I could. All right, now, having said that, let's look at this. So he says, we've been talented all along, okay? So what I'm going to say is the we there is not just like humanity, although it could be humanity, but because I'm looking at this Amy Winehouse thing, I'm specifically thinking he's talking about them and her, okay? So people at that level. So we've been talented all along. Now, that is true, but, you know, breaking into these industries, I heard, is a notoriously difficult thing to do. And so you might not always think that you're as talented as you truly are, right? Now, look at this. We think we're fortresses made of stones, but we're just palaces made out of fresh flesh and bone, waiting for our time to shine to come on home. Later, Silver. Really, really good job. Write something that's not going to make me terrified to go to sleep, please. That would be great, if you consider me a friend. Okay. Now, this right here, people as building, right? We think we're fortresses made of stone, but we're palaces made of flesh and bone. Think about this. The concept of a person being an actual building, right, comes from a biblical understanding. Because in the Bible, here's what happened. God and human beings, how are they going to relate to each other and how are they going to meet each other, right? So the ancient people said, oh, well, the way that God meets you is through a temple, right? So you build a temple and then you put the images of the gods in there and you go in there and that's where you have your communion with God, right? So the temple becomes this structure where God and man meet each other. And that's the reason why when you have the Garden of Eden, God places Adam and Eve, who are what? His images. So you put the images of the gods in a temple, and when God is creating the Garden of Eden, he takes his images and puts them in the Garden of Eden. So the Garden of Eden now is a temple, because the Garden of Eden is a meeting place where God and man meet, right? A lot of people don't know this, but it says that God created everything. He created Adam, and then it says he planted a garden in Eden. So Adam did not wake up in Eden. Adam was created in the world, and then God created, it said he planted a garden, he planted Eden, and then he moved Adam into Eden, okay? And so, because Eden, why? Because of all the places in the earth, that's where God is hanging out. So he moves them in there, which means that the Garden of Eden is actually a temple, right? And that's why when Solomon later on goes to build the temple in the Old Testament, there's a lot of garden imagery in there. Why? Well, in the ancient Near East, almost all the temples had garden imagery there. Why? Because the garden was the original temple, and the entire point of making a temple in the first place is to get back to that existence that we had with God, right? Before everything went bad. So the Israelites, just like everybody else, builds an actual, like, physical temple that's the meeting place between God and man. Well, the people begin to think that there's some sort of magic with the temple itself, instead of saying that the temple is important because that's where us and God are going to meet. And so God says, oh, this is what we're doing? And then they start screwing around. They start, taking advantage of the poor, not being good to foreigners. And so God says, oh, you think that because the temple's here, I'm not going to destroy your country because you guys are doing all this horrible stuff to people? You're wrong. I'm going to destroy the temple. So then God goes and destroys the temple. Well, the temple gets rebuilt, and then you show up to the time of Jesus, right? And during the time of Jesus, you have another rebuilt temple, but Jesus says, I'm going to destroy this temple. So the first Christians get kicked out of the temple, right? What the hell does this have to do with Lupe Fiasco? Here's why. Because the gospel writers then, Christians are kicked out of the temple. The gospel writers say, you guys are the temple. You guys are the new temple. The church gathered together. You guys are the temple. And then Peter says, each of you are bricks that are building up into the house of God. So the idea that people gathered together or individually are actually buildings is a biblical concept, right? Because what they're saying is that the Christian church is the place where God and man meet, right? Because that's what we said a temple was. So now I am individually the temple because God is in me, and then collectively, corporately, we're the temple because God is in us, at a collective sense. So here, what he says is, notice what he says. He doesn't say we're a temple, because the temple's where God and man meet. The first thing he says is we think we are what? Fortresses made of stone. That's important intel. What is a fortress? Well, that's a place you go to during a time of war, right? And it's made out of stone because it's got to withstand all the slings of arrows of war. But he says we think that we are fortresses. So the building motif that he applies is not we're the meeting place between God and man. What he says is we think, our own estimation is that we are fortresses made of stone. Like we are in constant conflict, okay? And we've got that hard exterior for protection. But then he says, but in reality, what we are palaces made of flesh and bone. What's with the different metaphor? Not a temple, where the meeting place of God and man. Not a fortress where people go to flee war. But palaces, which are exorbitant, exaggeratedly expensive things, right? That is the abode of the rich and the privileged. So we're not a temple where people meet God. We're not a fortress where people go to for war. We're palaces because we're exorbitantly rich. But listen, what is this constructed out of? Flesh and bone. What was the fortress structured out of? Stone. Meaning we are fragile. We're not a fortress because we're at war with everybody. We're palaces because we're mega rich, but we're flesh and bone. Like we're weak. We're not strong. We're not impenetrable, which you end up feeling like a lot when you become rich and famous. Waiting for our time to shine to come on home. Home, I'm assuming, is death. And when you're talking about Amy Winehouse, that makes a lot of sense. So my point is, and I'm super truncating this, but what I'm saying is that lyrically, what he's saying here is absolutely incredible, and that's just the course. So, I mean, come on. Here we go. All right, let's continue. Negative, let me know if I'm going too long out here. So now we go into the first verse. Lord, please bless my castle of sand. Okay? Once again, palace, castle, sand, flesh and bone. He's acknowledging once again that their financial situation does not change the fact that all of it is so brittle and all of it is so fragile. Like he's feeling the transience of the kind of life that they're in. Okay, and I think that's one of the biggest lessons from the Amy Winehouse situation in the first place. It's obviously a castle of sand. She's not here anymore. You know what I'm saying? Lord, please bless my castle of sand. Waiting on a battle, sword handle all in my hand. Remember, he talked about fortresses, right? We think we're fortresses made up of stone. So what he's saying is they're not equipped. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that rhyme scheme. We're gonna talk about that rhyme scheme too, because he's brilliant. Him and Papoose, in my opinion, are the best at that. I've seen Papoose do like 50 bars straight with that kind of ending. Okay, guys. So let's continue. Hold on, my computer is acting weird. What's up, Realm? Okay, so waiting on a battle, sword all in my hand. The war forces more toward my door with demands. The war forces more toward my door with demands. Okay? More important than the fortune that you poured out into my pan, from freestyling to recording advance. Okay? So what's happening here is he's telling his own story. Freestyling is rap, right? You rap off the top of your head. Usually you do that in the lunchroom. People make a beat and then you go out and you go off. But now he's recording advance. Like they give you an advance. We're going to give you $500,000 to record this thing, right? So what he's saying is the more the war forces more toward my door with demands, more important than the fortune that you poured in my pan. It depends on who's making demands of him. A lot of it is making demands like, hey, we know that you have money now, so give us money, right? So that's the war, that's the battle that all famous people have to deal with. Or it could be the record execs or whatever, hey, we got to do this tour, we got to do this, we got to do that. So he's presenting himself as a beggar who ended up with a bunch of riches. He's presenting himself as a panhandler, more important than the fortune that you poured into my pan. So he's presenting himself as a panhandler, and God gave him this happy providence. Lupe is a Muslim, so that would work. So when it says the war forces more toward my door with demands, that's either the people begging him for money or the record execs. Either way, that's the war that all these guys have to fight. Can you please reinforce all my borders and bands? Bands are stacks of money. Like I got bands, right? But it could also be the literal band that he plays with, because Lupe plays with a band. But can you please reinforce all my borders and bands would be, now that you've accumulated all this material wealth, now you have to secure it. And that this is one of the dichotomies of being rich coming into money, is that once you accumulate capital and you start buying stuff, now you got to secure it, right? So it's just constant. You're at war all the time. People, now that you got this stuff, then you got to pay to keep it secure, I'm assuming. I should have put it towards some plants. Want a forest, you got to water some plants. This is how people, they get these advances, and instead of like saving the money, they go off and blow it because they've never been around money anymore. He says right there, if you want a forest, then you have to water the plants. You can't just blow your money. Normally, ignoring the branch is par for the course, but when you hold the culture, you can't parkour over a part. So this guy lyrically is insane. So parkour is when like you jump over stuff, right? Like you're using the building to jump from place to place, right? But if you want real street cred in the culture, then you have to go through everything. You can't just jump over it, right? That's basically what he's saying. You got to march forth over your art and for your fans. I think that there is probably something having to do with literally the 4th of March, that is relevant here, but he says you got to march forth over your art and your fans. So I think there's a double entendre that I'm missing in here somehow. When you quarter, got to shorten your stance, lessen your tails. Philly shell, don't orbit the dance. So the Philly shell is the defensive posture that Floyd Mayweather made famous, right? It's basically, it's the ability to box in close quarters without getting contacted in vital areas, right? Your face, your eyes, your chin, all these score points on the scale for boxing. But the Philly shell makes it so that you only end up hitting somebody's shoulder, bicep really, or forearm. So when he's saying lessen your tails, Philly shell, don't orbit or dance, meaning anything that you talk about in this rap world, you got to earn it culturally, because if we find out that you weren't really about that life, then your career is over. You hear the bell, then report to the band, then do whatever the chorus commands for the gram. So that, once again, closes out how they feel like they could be, famous and run everything, but now they're basically held captive to, algorithms just like everybody else, right? So it explains like what happens when you become rich and famous. You run into all of these traps, and a lot of people don't make it out. And I think this is one of the reasons why, Amy Winehouse didn't make it out, is basically, I think she lost. I mean, obviously she lost that battle somehow. Okay, so here's the next. Here's verse 2. Lord, please bless my mansions of cards. You see that? That's brilliant, right? Because the term is not mansions of cards. What's the term? House of cards, right? But what's the theme? Anytime that he puts, affluence or riches, it always gets juxtaposed with the fragility of those riches, right? So instead of talking about a house of cards, you're going to fold like a house of cards, he talks about a mansion of cards, because once again, they're rich. But what he's saying is the same principles apply. Just like everything can fall apart in a house of cards, that principle doesn't change once you get a mansion. It could still all fall apart for you. And, again, it's horrible as a precautionary tale, because that's exactly what happened with Amy Winehouse. Her life was really, it was really just a house of cards. It was built on a house of cards. It was built on, if I'm rich and I'm famous, this is going to solve all these problems. And that's not true. That's a lie. But when you're in a bad economy like we are now, a lot of people buy into that. That, look, money is the root of your, the money is absolutely problematic, but money is not the root of the problem. Do any of you think there's anything to do with the 27 Club, or is it just coincidence? Well, what line would you point to talk about the 27 Club there? I think it's a good theory. I just want to know which line. Okay, so that first line just right there just tells you right there, like that's part of the theme. Like all this money and fame is a house of cards. It's weak. If ever challenged, let us camp in the car or hang a hammock from a branch in the park. Now, Kurt Cobain was kind of famous for this. He didn't want to live in his mansions. He'd hang out in his closet, or he'd hang out in his closet, or sometimes he'd go to like seedy hotels. He didn't have a real, he never got comfortable with being rich and famous. So I think that's what he's talking about. Being anonymous don't grant use of dark. A planet made of uninhabited parts, being anonymous don't grant use of dark. Even astronomers keep a camera on Mars. Satellites attract where you are. And see your blackest night, attack it with sparks. Oh man, you see what he's saying here? What he's saying here is crazy. This is really, really more directed to her. Okay, so what he's saying is like, you're trying to remain anonymous, like as a star. Like once you become famous, blah, 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 and you start saving your money and all this stuff, you can never go back to being anonymous again. So even if you try to be anonymous, it doesn't grant you darkness, meaning I don't want all the lights, I don't want all the glitz, I want to be left alone for a little bit. And look, he says, being anonymous don't grant you some dark. Even astronomers keeping a camera on Mars. So Mars is the red planet. It's not as big as shiny as Venus and the other ones, but the fact is, we know that Mars is around, and since Mars is now on there's not a lot of planets to choose from, right? Planets are a rarity, right? So once that comes into our consciousness, we're going to train our eyes on that planet, regardless of whether or not it sticks out, because it's now famous, because it's rare, right? So being anonymous doesn't grant you some dark. Even astronomers keep a camera on Mars. Satellites attract where you are. It's like, you can't escape the paparazzi, bruh. And see your blackest night? Attack it with sparks. Fireworks not a match for a star. So you'll be in the worst situation of your life as a famous person, right? So now, first, darkness was about anonymity, not being in front of the light. Darkness here is a bad time in your life. So and see your blackest night, they'll attack it with sparks. Boom, 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 take pictures of it. You know, it's like we're talking about with Bonnie and Clyde, right? Like, the worse your situation is as a famous person, the more those people are going to click and the more those people are going to read about you. Same thing with Justin Bieber, right? Like, we got to pray for him because it doesn't look like it's going to end well for him. So, fireworks are not a match for a star. And fire hurts, burns, blackens, and scars. So the fireworks there are the cameras flashing and all the rest of it. And he's saying, like, the idea is Amy Winehouse or real stars are so much bigger than the flash of the camera. Those are just like little fireworks. But the problem is, you can't compare it. Yeah, they're not a match, but fire hurts. It burns, it blackens, and stars. So, Kevin Durant said this. He said this about the sports radio culture because they all criticize him and he can't take criticism. So he's like, I'm a god. And he said, you could be a god, but you're living like a pawn, because that's how these people view regular people. So it's like, I'm a star that's burning fire, right? I mean, a star is just a gigantic wall of fire. You're just a firecracker. The problem, though, is the firecracker still has fire, and it can still burn you, it can still blacken you, it can still scar you. And you can still emerge, learned, attractive, and sharp from out of the ashes of galactic barrage. Yeah, it gets savage when they traffic mirage. It ain't no magic, they in the back of it. Secret hatches and fraud. You gotta take it back to the start. So here he's saying, it is possible to overcome all this stuff. You absolutely can overcome it. It's not impossible, but it's very, 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 very difficult to do. Extremely difficult to do. And then the last lyrics are maybe even a reference to her song Back to Black. Okay, so here's the last one, and again, he starts it off with the same lyrical theme. Lord, please bless my palace of bones. There it is again. So you got the rich, and then you've got the brittle nature of it. My soul calls my skeletons home. It's on the phone. This is saying that the soul and the body are not the same thing, which we agree with. And his skeleton, his soul is on the phone, meaning I think he's calling to get out of here. Give the receiver back to Tyrone. We made a pact, nigga. I'm coming back home. Yeah, pack my bag, stagger back to the zone with a bag full of daggers I've thrown. I'm like my own masochist, slash my wrist with a poem. And when so this right here is like probably talking about the suicidal ideation, not wanting to be here anymore. And we had a deal. You got to come back and get me. Don't tamper with my sample or my songs unless you're strong. Keep emojis in the group chat. So bicep emojis in the group chat. That's people telling each other to, like, stay strong. Like, hey man, stay strong, whatever. They were probably in a group chat together, and that probably literally happened. 5 sets of burpee, don't disturb me if the booth black. I'm going through it, got a bunch of baggage on my roof rack. It's just a great way to talk about the contradictions of fame and wealth and the lie of capitalism. That, yeah, man, if you get money, you'll be happy. If you get money, instead of having a house of cards, you can have a mansion of cards, but it's still just as fragile, just as brittle, just as transient, and become just as much as a prison as anything else. It's easy for some people to say. I understand that, but I promise you, the money thing is not what y'all think it is. It really is not. If you got loyal friends that love you, if you've got like a loyal wife that loves you, like you got everything, you got kids, that's the shit that you will take with you after you die. Real rap. I've got full hope and confidence that the Lord Jesus gave Amy Winehouse rest. But if she could come back and tell us this stuff, she would tell us that this stuff is not as important as we think it is. It's not. The lyrics don't match the tone. Wouldn't have guessed how much was in the lyrics. Sounds like Bruno Mars, something similar, poppy, radio safe. Yeah, no, I agree. That's why, like, some of these rappers, you really got to give it to them, because they still find ways to make shit, you know, really, really significant. I really liked the song. I liked what he was saying. It's such a crazy concept to me. What would have happened if Amy Winehouse would have been able to live and become a battle rapper? It's insane. Like, it's unbelievable. Really good selection. Really good selection. All right, guys. I'm going to give this one a solid 9.4. 9.4. All right, guys. Song. All right, I'm gonna give this one a 9.4. I really liked it. Really liked it. What's up, Valley? Okay, guys. Here we go. We got more songs on the way. Song number 3. Ben, are you my timestamp guy? Song number 3 is by a fella named Maynard Ferguson. Birdland is the name of this song. Maynard Ferguson. Birdland is the name of this song. When I saw Maynard, I was like, oh my god, it's Tool. I thought there was going to be like some Tool like side project thing. But no disrespect to the guy, but it's not that. What's with the 80s background workout music? Is it too loud? What's up, Valley? Is it too loud? Or is it just right? Let me know. All right, guys. Let's see what Anarchy 99. I know these reviews have been going long, guys. I'm sorry. But it's a rap song. I had to go line by line lyrically. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Here we go. Anarchy 99. Let's see what the Anarchy 99 people want us to know about this song. Next up on the Anarchy 99 catch-up poll is the winner from our Chero's 2 picks, Birdland by Maynard Ferguson. Maynard is a very well-known jazz trumpet player from Canada, and this particular recording is a live version of his 80s flavored progressive jazz song Birdland. This one's instrumental, so I don't have many lyrics. See, I should have freaking damn it. I should have read the entire comment, because I spent like 10-15 minutes looking for the lyrics to Birdland. Oh, that sucks. All right, guys. Timestamp is 1:23:38. Ben, 1:23:38. All right, guys. Here we go. Birdland by the big homie Maynard Ferguson. Maynard Ferguson. Birdland, let's do it.
Thank you very much. Let's all just take one more trip to Birdland.
Hold on, I gotta turn this up. This sounds like 80s workout music. Okay. Yo, I'm feeling this already. I ain't gonna lie to you. Is that the Maynard guy? Hey, I hate doing this, but listen to all the individual notes. Like, one of the things that I'm learning in this thing, when you see a guitarist going, that's mega impressive. But if you listen for the singular notes, he's doing some work with his fingers, and he's doing it with his breath. That is, I gotta give them a little bit. It's more demanding to me, I think. What they're doing is more demanding than what we do as guitarists, I think. Because, like, it's your actual breath and this. I don't know. But, yeah, that's crazy. If you actually, like, stop and listen for the individual notes, you'll see that dude is flying. These people are flying. Which, shout out to all the I forgot who it was that, like, put me onto that. But listen again when this guy does his solo part. Sorry for interrupting, but, like, listen for the individual notes. You'll see what I'm talking about. See that? Look at that. Holy. Who is the Maynard? Who's Maynard? Is it the old guy or the guy in the black? Now it's just smooth. There it is again, right there. bro. Shout out. Okay, here's the thing. Shout out to that Maynard guy, right? Like, shout out to him. I love what he did with the, like, I love that. But I will also shout out to him because he let that, I don't know, it was saxophone, I don't know what the instrument was, but he let that boy shine. That dude, to me, like, just took over the song, bro. Like, and it's not even a competition thing, because like I said, like, shout out to Maynard for even, like, allowing that to happen. But, like, bro, that right there was, like, what that dude was doing. You call that brass work in your guys' culture? Yeah, like, what dude was doing was absolutely freaking incredible, what he was doing. Like, that was absolutely amazing what that dude was doing. Because like I said, like, that's why I kind of paused it so everybody could listen for it. Like, you could listen out and you could hear the individuated notes so clearly, but they're going so fast. I never, until I had this channel, and then it was crazy because, like, they knew that they couldn't just, like, throw straight jazz at us. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. Like, they had to slowly, like, work us into, oh, this band has a saxophone in it. I remember the first time they told me we were listening to a band with a saxophone, and I looked at Sorry. I was like, man, I muted. I was like, this is about to be some bullshit. I muted it. I told Shorty, I was like, yo, hit me if I'm being, like, too critical, because this is about to be some bullshit. That's what I thought, literally. And then, like, I forgot the name of the band, but when I heard it and the guitar was, like, putting out that note, I was like, yo, wait a second, I'm ignorant as hell, bro. Yo, I was ignorant as hell, bro. This shit was hard as hell. I loved it. So then, like, they eventually got us to the point where I was able to, like, hear an instrumental, like a jazz instrumental by itself and like, give it a fighting chance, right? And now, like, it's crazy because it first started out, it sounded like 80s, like, kind of, and they were dressed like it. They were, like, dressed like late 80s, early 90s type thing. So it sounded like, you know, like poppy, like the kind of, the workout music that, you know what I'm saying? I think somebody said, like, yo, why is there, I think it's Emma, shout out to Emma. She's like, yo, why is there, like, 80s workout music at the beginning? Like, yeah, so, but man, what that dude was doing was absolutely incredible. The thing that I appreciate about that is not what people might think. I appreciate how difficult, how demanding physically what he's doing is. Like, I got one video where I'm doing, like, you know, one of these, like, 2,000 note solo thingies that people do, and, like, it goes on for about a minute and a half, and in order to maintain that tempo, I, like, physically, like, had to work and practice at maintaining that tempo to keep all the notes accurate. So the physical side of doing something like that live and your own breath is part of the instrument. So you have to maintain your breathing pattern and still do all that. Like, to me, the physical demands of being that excellent live, to me, is what's crazy about what I just saw. Like, that to me, like I said, try it. Get your guitar out and just try to play as fast as you possibly can for a minute straight. And maintain that tempo and make it so that each of the notes are legible to the ear. Like, it's very hard to do. So shout out to that, whoever that guy was, good brass work. And shout out to the Maynard guy for not being so insecure as to not let this dude have his shine, because he let the dude have his shine, man. Like, and you know, those guys, they were all egomaniacs. So I loved it. It's it's my favorite like jazz themed instrumental, and it's not even close. I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna give this one a 9.8. 9.8. Song of the night for me right now, which is kind of unfair, but it's a song of the night for me right now. Really. Who made that selection? I feel like that must have been Archero or Negative, because Archero is the big guy, the big music guy. He's the horn guy. You guys didn't know this, but the sax was invented by the Beatles. Y'all didn't know that, but the sax was invented by the Beatles. Good freaking pick, Archero. Good freaking pick, bro. Well done. Job well done. Job well done. All right, guys. Don't go nowhere. We have one more crazy song for you beautiful people. Thank you guys for hanging out. I know that the review, holy smokes, the reviews went massively long today. I understand that, but I did cut down that Lupe review. That Lupe review would have been another hour and a half if I would have had my way, so you guys are lucky. All right. Hey, Benji, baby, we need one more. We need one more timestamp for you. Let me know when you're ready to rock and roll. Let me know when you're ready to rock and roll. Actually, I got it, Ben. Let's do 1:37 evening. Okay, do the 1:37 mark evening. All right, everybody, we got one more song for you beautiful people. It is by, let's see what people have to say. Fally, Project Mishram, Loco Coco. The winner of Fally's selections for the A99 catch-up poll is a really wild one. The track Loco Coco by the Indian avant-garde band Project Mishram. We can expect a crazy blend of Carnatic South Indian folk music, gent hip-hop, EDM, and some other stuff I'm sure I'm overlooking. Holy smokes. Archero, disregard the last, let me see, 1, 2, 3 messages I sent you. Disregard all of those. Matter of fact, I'm just going to delete them. Hopefully, this message will be deleted. Yeah, I'll just delete them because they're completely irrelevant. They were made off of a mistaken thingamajiggy that I had here. All right, Fally. Fally should be in this thingamajiggy here. Fally should be here, so hopefully Fally gets to hear this song. Dear listener, if you become part of the alliance, you too can have one of your songs reviewed. All right, guys, here we go. Fally's joint. This is Fally's song. This is the last song of the night. I'm very, very sorry. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Such sweet sorrow. Project Mishram, Loco Coco. I want to hear this song. I'm actually really curious to hear this song, bro. Okay, Fally's here. Now we're really happy. Here we go, guys. Project Mishram, Loco Coco. Let's do it.
Felt alive. Loco Coco's a hella drug. I spill it down my throat, piss it on my rug. I watch it trickle down as it slowly stings. What's left of me, Loco Coco, I will brain. Give me that hit. I need that shit. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Can you feel it? I'm on my fix. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Give me that hit. I need that shit. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Can you feel it? I'm on my fix. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco.
ಕಾಪಿ ಹುಚ್ಚು ಕಾಣಲೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ದಾಸರೋಲೆ 50 ಕಾಸುಗೊಂದು ಲೋಟ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಆಹ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ ಸೊಗಸೊಲೆ ಬಿಸಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಇದೆ ಕುಡಿಯಲೆ 18 ತಾಸಿಗಂತ ಮದ ಹತ್ತದೆ ಕಪ್ಪಗೆ ಇದ್ಯಾ ಕಾಪಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ದಪ್ಪಗೆ ಇದ್ಯಾ ಕಾಪಿ ರಾಂಗು ಇದ್ಯಾ ಕಾಪಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗು ಇದ್ಯಾ ಕಾಪಿ ನಂಗೆ ನಿಂಗೆ ಅವ್ಗೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲಾರ್ಗೂ ಕಾಪಿ
I love this shit.
Let's talk about something important. I've been in this business 15 years. What's your name? I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my name. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Put that coffee down. I don't gotta listen to this shit. You certainly don't now.
Holy shit, I love this song, dude.
To the local coco. Can you feel it? I'm on my fix. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Give me that hit. I need that shit. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Can you feel it? I'm on my fix. I'm an addict. I'm truly enslaved to the local coco. Okay, it's rescue.
So once again, I'm the sin and it's true that you get. You can't go back again, but don't you wanna feel the adrenaline? You're closer to oblivion in a kind of trance that enables your sorry fucking mind soaring as you ride the Resident Evil vibe. There's pandemonium inside, but the poltergeist will tell you otherwise. Barely can it surmise a local coco's a hell of a trip. I sip it in the morning, fade to black, you piss it on your rug. You're an addict without a phase, not a astral haze. Push to shove, can't evade that gaze that leaves you zealous, sinking without a trace. How many times do you say you could die? But you're just causing a fight. Motherfuckers tweeting, shouting, slammed, twisted and turned. You got nowhere to run. The coco's taking a hold of your soul.
No. 10 seconds left. Oh, man. Dude, I was enjoying that guitar part at the end, bro. Man. You know, I really like this song. And then, obviously, like, let me see. What did they say about the band? They said that it was... They didn't say it was prog, was it? Yeah, it's not a prog band. But I felt like they tried to get cute in the middle of the song. There's a couple moments in the song. It's like, what are you doing? What is this? Here we go. Like, I even said it too. There was like one point in the song I was like, oh God, here we go. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't like go like overboard with, you know, like Dream Theater, you know, where they just go on these like, I'm going to go on this, 2-minute rant to show everybody that I graduated from Juilliard. And if I didn't graduate from Juilliard, I should have. Look what I can do with the guitar. They didn't do that. But I felt like there were a couple times in the middle where there was some of that. Like, I felt like the song, it was like 8 something. Like, I felt like the song would have done great at like 6:30. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it's 2 minutes of the song or a minute and a half of the song that was just like, and it wasn't even, I'm not going to accuse it of being proggy because they didn't do anything weird with the guitar. Like Dream Theater, they will just do like the most, oh wow, look what he did with the guitar. Like, I get it, bro. Like, bro's hard. Like, I get it. But they did some things in the middle. I was like, shit is just like, yeah, like I said, I commented on it. But anyway, when they got heavy, they got mega heavy. It's just like, I don't know. There was some parts of it, I think, that they were experimental in things. And so, like, the normal things where you, like, kind of catch a beat and start writing it, you don't really get that full sort of expression because they were trying to be cute. That stuff kind of annoys me. But as far as, like, the entire song as a whole, if they were to cut it by, like, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, like, I would be in love with this song. I'd be playing this song constantly on repeat. The other thing that was really interesting to me was that I was almost certain that they were talking about cocaine. I was certain they were talking about cocaine. But I don't think it's actual. The Loco Coco, I don't think is cocaine. I actually think it's literally coffee. Like, I literally think that they were talking about coffee in this song, which I know is funny considering like how serious it was. But here's the translation. Here's the translation of that part where they were speaking in Hindi. Coffee madness. Look at it. We're all coffee slaves here. Oh, just for 10 cents, you can get a cup. The coffee mountain is wonderful. Hot coffee is here. Drink up. An intoxication that lasts long, more than 18 hours. Is the coffee black? No. Is the coffee thick? Is the coffee wrong? No. The coffee is strong for me, for you, for him, for her, for all of us. It's coffee. So it looks to me like they're literally talking about coffee through the entire song, which is incredible. It just shows you how language can and the way that we pronounce things can really be like deceptive. I think the lyrical idea is like to like or equate, compare coffee with cocaine. Yeah, no, I definitely see it. I definitely see it. The Loco Coco. I've had people talk about that. You know, it's funny. Like, one of my favorite pastors actually had to like deal with that in a question and answer session, because people were like, okay, like, you're really going off against these drugs and things like that, and like, we get what you're saying, but then they were like, what's the difference with coffee? Coffee is a drug. And his response, I thought, was really fascinating. He said, people who take other drugs like cocaine, weed, and all those things, they're trying to escape something. They're trying to somehow get away from reality. Whereas when people ingest coffee, they're trying to engage with reality, but engage reality more rigorously. So a coffee drinker is somebody who's trying to engage with reality with an advantage, whereas an alcoholic and the other drugs are about getting away from reality. And I thought that was a very good... Hey, Tony in this bitch! What's up, Tony? I was just telling people about movies. We're going to be watching movies pretty soon here. But big shout out to Tony, one of the original OG DJs in the house. So like, so I get it. Like, there is a correlation between cocaine and coffee, because they're both drugs. Although what I will say, the rebuttal for cocaine though would be, well, we're trying to engage with reality too. The dudes on Wall Street were taking cocaine so that they could stay up more and engage with that. The rock stars were doing it so they could give a good show. So doesn't that work? And I got to admit, like, it does work the same way, but I think that cocaine is a lot more destructive than that. Also, don't forget what caffeine did to Jesse Spano. I don't know who Jesse Spano is, but I'm assuming it wasn't nice to him. ALF, Amy Lee Forever. That's legit. I really like this song, aside from, them veering off in the middle there, away from the faith. That's okay, though. That's okay. I'm going to give this one... Man, I really like that freaking... I really enjoyed that solo. And I also really... See, Kyrie's song, I didn't enjoy at all. I'm actually going to give Kyrie the song of the night, because I enjoyed it the least, and it's the most disturbing to me. It's by... Lyrically, I would literally, honestly... Between her and Lupe, I honestly, genuinely don't know who had the better lyrics tonight. But as far as like making me feel uncomfortable, and I'm literally gonna wash my hands right after this show, like literally, and it's because of her. So, all right, so I'll give Song of the Night to Silver Kyrie. That's the first time I've given the Song of the Night to somebody whose song I will never listen to again. But it did its job. This song, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. XBM says 8.9. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because I genuinely love that solo. That solo was hard, but the solo also made me a little annoyed at the band, because I'm like, why didn't you feature this guy a little bit more instead of all the dumb shit you guys did in the middle? So that made me like more angry. But I'll give it a 9.5 for the solo because it's absolutely deserving. Vin, this year Croatia is sending a very interesting song to Eurovision about local women who tattooed crosses on their kids so Muslim soldiers wouldn't abuse them, as tattoos were considered haram. Subhanallah. May I send you the link privately? Of course, it's not a reaction material. It's too dark lyrically. You can send me anything, Amy. What the hell? Send me anything. I don't care. And let's talk about it. If we want to review it, then we'll review it. You know, whatever. All right, guys. Much love to all you beautiful people. Thank you for all the people that were working on getting me this stuff. Shout out to Negative Vibes. Shout out to Archero, man. Good job, bro. Good job. All right, guys. We will be seeing you guys real soon here. Real soon here. Much love to all you beautiful people. Stay safe. Love your neighbor. Take care of each other, y'all. Vin out.